Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English with Ease, where learning English becomes simple, enjoyable, and part of your everyday life. I'm Megan, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you today. Whether you're just starting your English journey or you've been studying for years, this video is going to change how you think about learning English forever. Now, before we dive in, I have a quick question for you. How many of you have ever felt frustrated with your English progress? Maybe you've been studying for months, even years, but you still feel stuck. You know grammar rules. You've memorized hundreds of vocabulary words, but when it comes time to actually speak or write, your mind goes blank. If that sounds familiar, don't worry. You're definitely not alone. And more importantly, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to talk about something that will completely transform your English learning experience. We're going to discover the secrets of becoming not just any English student, but a truly successful one. The kind of student who makes steady progress every single day, who feels confident using English in real situations, and who actually enjoys the learning process. And here's the best part. Everything I'm going to share with you today is simple, useful, and designed to fit perfectly into your busy life. But first, let me tell you why this topic is so close to my heart. A few years ago, I met a student named Sophia. She had been studying English for over 3 years, attending classes twice a week, buying expensive textbooks, and spending hours on grammar exercises. Yet, when I asked her a simple question in English, she froze. She knew the answer. She understood what I was asking, but she couldn't get the words out. That night, Sophia told me she was ready to give up on English completely. She felt like she was wasting her time and money. Fast forward 6 months later, and Sophia was confidently giving presentations in English at her job. What changed? It wasn't that she suddenly became smarter or more talented. The difference was that she learned how to study English the right way. She discovered the habits and techniques that successful English learners use every single day. And by the end of today's video, you'll know exactly what those techniques are. So, what makes the difference between students who struggle for years and those who see amazing progress in just a few months? The answer might surprise you. It's not about studying harder or for longer hours. It's not about having perfect pronunciation from day one. And it's definitely not about being naturally gifted with languages. The secret is much simpler than that. Successful English students understand something that struggling students don't. They know that learning English isn't about perfection. It's about connection. It's about building habits that make English a natural part of their daily routine. It's about creating a system that works with their lifestyle, not against it. And most importantly, it's about enjoying the journey, not just focusing on the destination. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Megan, I've heard this before. Everyone says learning English should be fun and easy, but it still feels difficult and overwhelming. Trust me, I completely understand that feeling. But here's what I want you to know. The strategies I'm going to share with you today aren't just theory. They're proven methods that have helped thousands of students around the world achieve their English goals. First, we'll talk about the foundation of successful English learning. This is the mindset shift that changes everything. Without this foundation, all the study techniques in the world won't help you. But with it, even 15 minutes a day can lead to incredible progress. Next, we'll dive into the daily habits that separate good English students from great ones. These aren't complicated routines that require hours of your time. They're simple, enjoyable activities that you can easily fit into your morning coffee break, your commute to work, or those few minutes before bed. Then, we'll explore the power of creating your own English environment, even if you live in a country where English isn't spoken. You'll discover how to surround yourself with English in ways that feel natural and exciting, not forced or stressful. And finally, we'll put it all together into a personalized daily study plan that works for your schedule, your goals, and your learning style. By the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to become the confident English speaker you've always wanted to be. So, let's start with the first key to becoming a successful English student. It's what I call the growth garden approach. Think of your English skills like a garden. You wouldn't plant seeds today and expect to harvest vegetables tomorrow, would you? Of course not. You'd water them regularly, make sure they get enough sunlight, and patiently watch them grow day by day. Learning English works exactly the same way. Every word you learn, every sentence you speak, every mistake you make and learn from is like watering your English garden. Some days you might not see much progress, just like some days your plants might not look much different than they did yesterday. But if you keep showing up consistently, if you keep nurturing your skills with patience and care, one day you'll look back and be amazed at how much you've grown. The growth garden approach means celebrating small victories along the way. Did you understand a joke in an English movie today? That's worth celebrating. Did you successfully order food in English without feeling nervous? Amazing progress. Did you read an entire article in English without needing to translate every other word? You're doing incredible. This mindset shift is crucial because it helps you focus on progress, not perfection. And when you focus on progress, learning becomes enjoyable instead of stressful. You start looking forward to your study time instead of dreading it. You begin to see challenges as opportunities to grow instead of evidence that you're not good enough. Now, let's talk about the daily habits that will transform your English skills. The first habit is something I call English moments. These are tiny pockets of time throughout your day where you choose to think, listen, or speak in English instead of your native language. The beauty of English moments is that they don't require any extra time in your schedule. You're simply replacing activities you're already doing with English versions. For example, instead of checking social media in your native language during your lunch break, spend 5 minutes reading English news headlines. Instead of listening to music in your own language while you exercise, create a playlist of English songs. Instead of thinking through your grocery list in your native language, try mentally planning it in English. These small switches add up to hours of extra English exposure every week without requiring any additional time from your busy schedule. The second daily habit is what I like to call the mirror method. Every morning, spend just 3 minutes talking to yourself in the mirror in English. I know this might sound a little silly at first, but hear me out. This simple practice does something magical for your confidence. You're practicing speaking without the pressure of someone judging you. You're getting comfortable hearing your own voice in English, and you're starting each day with a positive English interaction. What should you talk about during these mirror sessions? Anything that comes to mind. Describe what you're wearing, talk about your plans for the day, share your thoughts about the weather, or even practice introducing yourself as if you're meeting someone new. The key is to keep talking for the full 3 minutes, even if you make mistakes or need to pause to think of words. Remember, this is your safe space to practice and grow. The third habit that successful English students swear by is the vocabulary capture technique. Instead of trying to memorize long lists of random words from textbooks, you collect words that naturally come up in your daily English exposure. Keep a small notebook or use your phone to write down interesting words you encounter while reading articles, watching videos, or listening to podcasts. But here's the crucial part. Don't just write the word and its translation. Write the entire sentence where you found it, so you understand how the word is actually used in context. Let me give you an example. Instead of just writing sophisticated, you might write, "The restaurant had a sophisticated atmosphere with dim lighting and jazz music." This way, you're not just learning the meaning of the word. You're learning how it feels and sounds in real English usage. Aim to capture just 2 or 3 new words each day. Quality over quantity is the secret here. Now, let's explore how to create your own English environment. Even if you're living somewhere, English isn't commonly spoken. This is where creativity becomes your best friend. The goal is to make English feel like a natural part of your world, not something foreign that you only encounter during study time. Start by changing the language settings on all your devices, your phone, your computer, your social media accounts, even your streaming services. Yes, it might feel confusing for the first few days, but you'll be amazed at how quickly you adapt. Suddenly, you're learning useful vocabulary like notifications, settings, download, and update without even trying to study them. Next, curate your social media feeds to include English content that genuinely interests you. Follow accounts about your hobbies, your profession, or topics you're passionate about. If you love cooking, follow English-speaking chefs. If you're interested in fitness, find English fitness influencers. If you enjoy photography, connect with English-speaking photographers. This way, you're consuming English content that you would want to read anyway, making the learning process feel effortless and enjoyable. Create what I call English zones in your living space. Designate certain areas where you only speak or think in English. Maybe it's your kitchen while you're cooking, or your bedroom while you're getting ready in the morning. Having physical spaces associated with English use helps train your brain to switch into English mode automatically when you're in those locations. Another powerful technique is to find English-speaking practice partners online. There are numerous language exchange platforms where you can connect with native English speakers who want to learn your language. You help them practice your native language for 30 minutes, and they help you practice English for 30 minutes. It's a win-win situation that costs nothing, but provides invaluable speaking practice with real people. But what if you're too nervous to speak with strangers right away? Start with English voice messages to yourself. Record yourself explaining your day, describing your favorite movie, or sharing your opinion about current events. Listen to these recordings not to criticize yourself, but to notice your progress over time. You'll be surprised how much clearer and more confident you sound after just a few weeks of this practice. Let's talk about reading, because this is where many students make a critical mistake. They choose materials that are far too difficult for their current level, get frustrated, and give up. The secret to improving your reading skills is to read materials that are slightly below your comfort level, not above it. This might seem counterintuitive, but when reading feels easy and enjoyable, you naturally read more. And the more you read, the faster you improve. Start with children's books, young adult novels, or simple news articles designed for English learners. As these become comfortable, gradually move to more challenging content. The goal is to always be reading something that brings you joy, not stress. When you enjoy what you're reading, you're more likely to stick with it, and consistency is what creates real improvement. Here's something that might surprise you about listening practice. Most students try to understand every single word they hear, and when they can't, they feel like failures. But successful English learners know a different approach. They focus on understanding the general meaning first, then gradually work on catching more details. It's like looking at a painting from far away to appreciate the whole picture before examining the individual brushstrokes. One technique that works incredibly well is called shadowing, but with a twist. Instead of trying to repeat everything you hear immediately, listen to a short segment first, pause it, then repeat what you remember. This trains both your listening comprehension and your speaking skills simultaneously. Don't worry about being perfect. Focus on capturing the rhythm and melody of English speech. Writing practice doesn't have to involve formal essays or complicated grammar exercises. Some of the most effective writing practice happens when you're simply expressing your thoughts and experiences in English. Start a private English journal where you write about your day, your dreams, your opinions, or your observations about the world around you. The beauty of journal writing is that there's no pressure to be perfect. You're writing for yourself, so you can experiment with new words, try different sentence structures, and express ideas that might feel too risky in a formal conversation. Over time, you'll notice that writing in English becomes more natural, and this confidence will carry over into your speaking as well. Now, let's put all of these elements together into a personalized daily study plan that actually works. The key word here is personalized, because what works for your friend might not work for you, and that's perfectly okay. We're going to create a flexible framework that you can adapt to your unique schedule, learning style, and goals. I want you to think about your day and identify 3 time slots where you can consistently practice English. These don't need to be long periods. In fact, 3 15-minute sessions spread throughout the day are often more effective than one 45-minute session. Why? Because spaced repetition helps your brain retain information better, and shorter sessions prevent mental fatigue. Your first time slot should be in the morning. This is when your mind is fresh and ready to absorb new information. During this time, focus on input activities like reading or listening. Maybe you read English news while having your morning coffee, or listen to an English podcast during your commute. The goal is to start your day by filling your mind with natural English sounds and patterns. Your second time slot works best in the middle of your day, perhaps during lunch or an afternoon break. This is perfect for active practice, like speaking or writing. You might record that voice message to yourself, have your mirror conversation, or write a quick journal entry about your morning experiences. This midday practice helps reinforce what you absorbed in the morning. Your third time slot should be in the evening, ideally within an hour or 2 of bedtime. This is when your brain processes and consolidates the information from the day. Evening practice should be relaxed and enjoyable. Watch a few minutes of an English show, read something light and interesting, or review the new vocabulary you captured during the day. But here's where most study plans fail. They're too rigid and don't account for real life. Some days, you'll be busy, tired, or dealing with unexpected situations. That's why I want you to create what I call backup plans. If you can't do your full 15-minute morning session, what's the minimum you can do? Maybe just listen to one English song or read one short article. If your evening winds up being hectic, perhaps you just review 3 vocabulary words before sleep. The magic happens when you maintain the habit, even if it's in a smaller form. A 2-minute English interaction is infinitely better than skipping English entirely, because you don't have 15 minutes. This flexibility prevents the all or nothing mentality that destroys so many good intentions. Remember, becoming a successful English student isn't about perfection or studying for hours every day. It's about consistency, patience with yourself, and making English a joyful part of your daily life. Start with just 1 or 2 techniques from today's video. Build that habit, then gradually add more. Your English garden is waiting to grow, and I believe in you completely. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video.